Former UFC double champ criticizes UFC 295 interim title fight. I think this is more of a number one contender spot. Former two-division UFC champion Henry Cejudo isn't thrilled that Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall will be fighting for an interim heavyweight title at UFC. The UFC's return to Madison Square Garden on November 11th was originally set to be headlined by a highly anticipated heavyweight clash between Jon Jones and former two-time champion Stipe Miocic. An injury forced Jones to withdraw, and the light heavyweight title fight between Yuri Prochazka and Alex Pereira was promoted to the main event. The UFC then decided to add an interim heavyweight title bout as the co-main event. The matchup between Pavlovich and Aspinall is certainly an intriguing fight, but Cejudo recently criticized the UFC's choice to put an interim title on the line at UFC. These are two guys that are up and coming, that are in their prime, that could potentially challenge a guy like Stipe or Jones, the winner of that, Cejudo said on his YouTube channel. It is exciting, but is it worth an interim heavyweight championship of the world? No, it isn't. I think we're starting to dilute a little bit of what it is to actually be a UFC champion. Pavlovich had already been named as the official backup fighter for the UFC 295 main event prior to Jones' injury, but Miocic is apparently happy to wait for bones to heal up before he steps into the octagon for the first time since 2021. Cejudo did go on to acknowledge that the winner of the UFC 295 co-main event will be the logical next challenger for the winner of Jones vs Miocic, but Triple C suggests that the UFC should at least consider changing some things about its interim titles. I think this is more of a number one contender spot, and I think that's what you call it. I think maybe the UFC, if they're gonna do that, start creating new belts. Or make the interim belt silver for that matter. But that's my 2 cents on that fight. Currently the UFC's number 4 ranked heavyweight contender, Aspinall, returned from a knee injury earlier this year and stopped Marcin Tybura in just over a minute. The 30-year-old is unbeaten in the UFC outside of his injury loss to Curtis Blades. Pavlovich has scored 6 straight first-round finishes after losing his UFC debut to Alistair Overeem in 2018. The Russian slugger took a 2-year hiatus from the sport from 2019 to 2022, and it seems to be paying dividends.